Welcome to Bird for Joy, a show about discovering all the different ways that bird watching can bring joy into our lives. I'm Candilynn Fite, your gracious host and fledgling birder. Here at Bird for Joy, we focus on listening and watching the birds around us, being curious and learning what the birds have to teach us about joy, life, and ourselves. So grab your favorite beverage, settle on your perch, and let's get into today's episode. Today's episode is for me just as much as it is for any of you. It's a reminder that no matter how much we plan or prepare for an event, there are many things that are beyond our control. We have to be flexible and understand that no matter how determined we are to achieve a particular outcome, stuff happens. Weather changes, life turns south, and plans fall apart. Planners, especially those of us who are also control freaks. What are your thoughts when you hear the phrase, expect the unexpected? Well, if you're anything like me, it doesn't sit well. Actually, if you could see my face right now, it's pinched into a very tight grimace. Because planners don't like the plans to, well, not go as planned. But I'm working on it. Birdwatching helps. Nature schools me in how to go with the flow. And sometimes I even wind up surprised, in a good way. For us birders, I'm sure we can all agree that birds don't appear just because we're there to look at them, and they certainly don't pause and pose for us to take their picture. As a matter of fact, every bird outing I have planned in advance never, ever turns out the way I expected it to turn out. Some were actually downright flops as far as birdwatching goes. In photos, let me be the first to say that I am not by any standards a photographer. Out of the 30 to 50 that I might take trying to capture a particular bird, I may keep one not so great picture to share. I'm also one of those people who set their expectations super high, and if and when, the expectations aren't met exactly how I intended, I end up disappointed. But birdwatching is teaching me lessons when it comes to setting expectations. Expect the unexpected. Yep, there's that darn phrase again. But I'm going to add to it. Expect the unexpected, and you won't wind up disappointed. The good thing is, when it comes to the unexpected, that doesn't always mean something negative, such as getting a flat tire on your one and only day of the month that you actually get to go birdwatching. It could be like something that happened to me this past week. A quick prologue to the story. Last Thursday, I had to run to Home Depot to get an aluminum trash can with the lid so that I could keep the raccoons from getting into our horse feed and making a mess. Side note, the night before, I had come face to face with a very young raccoon who happened to be on the inside of the feed bag as I chased off its siblings. I'm not sure who was more frightened, me or the little coon. As I was about to turn into the Home Depot parking lot, there in the open field was a tallish brown and white bird on stilted light yellow legs, bobbing a small head from its stretched neck and a tail that extended way past its wings. The truck behind me did not approve of my brake check and laid on its horn, causing the bird to run, not fly, into the taller grass. I parked my car, grabbed my cell phone, and sprinted out into the meadow. The odd-looking bird just stood there, neck stretched very high, and every few seconds it would take a few steps, bobbing its head and tail. The bird seemed lost and out of sorts. I didn't want to further stress the bird out, so I kept my distance, just watching its mannerisms and noting its coloring, size, and markings. Before it disappeared deeper into the grass, I managed to get a very bad video of the bird walking and 2 blurry photos. My first thought was possibly some kind of wading shorebird, although there isn't a body of water larger than a livestock tank in my area. Upon returning home, I hit the reference books and Google. I continued searching the shorebird idea and found an image on Google that I thought maybe it could be the little curlew. Of course, the chances of that being true was slim to none because I discovered the little curlew is an Asian shorebird. And even if blown way off course during its fall migration, it wouldn't be found in South Central Texas. So I dove deeper into the shorebird idea and found a very interesting research article written by Lehman and Dunn in 1985 that stated a rare sighting of a little curlew had been reported in Southern California. But the bird had actually originally been identified as an upland sandpiper. Now, side by side in the picture, the two birds have considerable differences. But in the field, I can see how the misidentification occurred. Once, I looked up the upland sandpiper and discovered their preferred habitats are meadows, fields, pastures, and during migration, they often lay over in agricultural fields and migrate through Texas as they head south to South America. I realized that I had identified the bird. A couple of things bothered me about the sighting, though. First, the upland sandpiper was alone. Not another of its species was in sight. And two, even after the driver of the truck laid on the horn, the bird didn't fly off. It merely ran several feet and then continued stretching its neck as if it was searching for something, or it was lost. Now, I'm going to admit, I do have a tendency to give human traits to the natural world. What is that called? Anthropomorphism? Anyway, I thought, what if the bird was injured? Why else wouldn't he just fly away? I thought about that little bird all evening. Early the next morning, I packed my binoculars, my scope, and went to see if it was still hanging around. After searching the overgrown pasture with my binoculars, I decided that the upland sandpiper must have started its next leg of its journey south. Disappointed I didn't get a better look at the bird I'd spent so much time researching, I packed up my gear. On my way back to the car, a white-eyed vireo's call from a nearby tree caught my attention. I laughed out loud because I had been trying to spot this bird since April. I glanced over at the line of trees edging the field and noticed movement at the top of one of the trees. "Really?" I said to the taunting bird. It issued another telltale call. "Okay, we're doing this," I said, heading its way. I lost sight of the bird as I stood there in the patchy shade of the tree's canopy. Of course I did. It's a white-eyed vireo, perhaps the most elusive bird on the planet, in my opinion. But I had time to kill, so I thought, why not? I plopped myself down on the crispy, rain-parched grass, held my binoculars ready for action, and glanced up, listening to its taunting call over and over. Maybe the little bird lacked skill in its species' well-known disappearing act, or maybe it was fate, because 10 minutes later, I caught sight of it flitting from branch to branch above my head. With knocks to my eyes, I focused in, and there, through the lenses, I spotted the white-eyed vireo. Its powder gray and yellowish plumage is distinctive, as is the canary yellow mask of feathers around its white eyes. As a very busy bird, it refused to sit still, so it took me several follows to finally see the white wing bars on the little bird. I smiled as I kept my eyes on the bird. I had to really take it all in, really get a good look at it, to finally have the courage to say, I spotted one. You were all the first to hear. I spotted a white-eyed vireo. Now, I set out that particular morning, hoping to find the upland sandpiper, and I allowed myself to feel disappointed when it didn't happen. Nature doesn't have to abide by or follow any plan or timetable but its own. Things may not have worked out the way I wanted them to, but I did experience an unexpected surprise. I spotted a bird I've been trying to see since mid-spring. I guess what I'm trying to say is, as a planner, I need to learn how to be more flexible when situations change. I need to accept that I can't control everything, especially nature. And when out birding, to expect the unexpected. Because sometimes it actually turns out to be a very good thing. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. If you are enjoying the show, I would love it if you would follow or subscribe, rate, review, and then let others know about the podcast so we can continue to build a community of like-minded birders. A big shout out to composer Jonathan Boyle for his cheerful show music called Plucking Happy. The spoken lyrics were written and read by me, and the full version with lyrics will follow this episode. Until next time, stay chirpy, my friends, and get outside, feel the sun upon your face and the wind in your hair, and bird for joy's sake. Bird for joy's sake, when you're needing more, a new beginning, feeling lost, alone, or blue, go into nature. Stroll to the melodious tunes of birdsong. Let it refresh your soul, fill your heart, lift your spirits. Yes, bird, for joy's sake. Witness the winged wonders, flitting, fluttering, playing hide and tweet. Is there anything else so sweet? I think not. We'll save for the chitter-chatter of my own nestlings as they filled my early days. But sigh no more, for they have long left the nest, and I now strive to find myself once again, discovering new things that I do best. Bird, for joy's sake, for our feathered friends have much joy to share, and it doesn't cost a dime, only time. And I don't know about you, but I am willing to give, to have a chance to live out my days, filled with curiosity, hope, and wonder, learning patience, the art of slowing down and being fully present, living in the moment, something I have long strived to achieve. Bird, for joy's sake, and keep looking up. Let their constant cheer infect you, their tenacity provide you with lessons of never giving up and looking on the brighter side of life. Prepare for entertainment with their quirky, chirpy silliness. Oh my, so much cuteness, happiness, and whimsy. You can't help but smile. And suddenly you'll discover worries cease, frustrations fade, chaos calms, and troubles melt away like snow in the spring. You will find yourself looking up and forward into the horizon, surrounded by song, hope, and happiness perched in your heart, feeling renewed and fulfilled. Go out into nature, take a stroll, let the avifauna rejuvenate your soul, and bird, for joy's sake.